Hey everyone, I'm here to talk to you today about your value handout and completing it a value scale along with some smooth value transitions for this sphere. First thing I want you to do is make sure you put your name on your handout. The next thing I'm going to talk to you about is making sure that you are shading in a way that's going to bring you the ample success that you need. So we want to make sure we're using a wood pencil, not a mechanical pencil, because the lead on a wooden pencil is stronger and wider, so it's going to help us blend better. I'm also going to hold my pencil further back for my lighter values, and I'm constantly going to change directions when I shade. So the way that I start is I start on the edge, and then I actually rotate my paper and I do the entire edge of my shape to make sure I'm getting value all the way around and not just to a few edges. I want to make sure that I am getting it all the way around. Also, when I'm shading, I am moving in little oval circles to help my pencil blend for me. Now my job is to make this as smooth of a value as I can, and I want to make a light gray. Now if you go too dark too fast, that's okay. We can lift a layer of the lead out, but I always want you to start with this soft value until your hand adjusts to the pressure that's necessary for each value step. So I have this one, and I'm going to just call this 2. So I have 1, 2. So here's my 2. My box is a little darker than what is actually on my handout. So I'm going to take my kneaded eraser, which is nice and soft, and I'm going to lift some of this out. So it's a little bit more of a gentle eraser than the pink one. The pink one's really good for edges and removing a lot of lead. But there we go. You can see that the kneaded eraser has lifted out the lead that I didn't want. I'm going to just go back and try and make this a little bit more even. There we go. Now it's a really nice light gray. And I'm going to move on to my next value. Again, I start by going around my entire form because value wraps around an entire form. And then I'm working in ovals, and they can be small ovals, and then I just go next to it. If I feel like I have good control, I can make the ovals bigger, but I want to make sure that I'm getting a nice even value across. And for me, I'm constantly rotating my paper because it reminds me to rotate and change directions of my shading. It's not always about pressure, especially in the light values. It's also about layering. So it's a nice step. It's fairly even. Let's make sure I get into those corners so I don't have any holidays or little white holes. And then I'm going to go to my value 4 and repeat. So I'm going to repeat this process of getting all the way around my little rectangle and then starting to fill the internal space. But I wanted to find the exterior space first, and I'm going to gradually get darker as I work my way down. So 1 is the white of the paper, 2 is the lightest gray you can make, and then 3, step darker. And I just progressively work my way down. And as I work my way down, I'm also scooching down my pencil. So when I get to black, I'm really close to the edge of, or not the edge, but the tip of my pencil. So I'm able to exert more pressure. But when I'm working in the lighter values, I want that light pressure, and I want to rely more on layering the lead. So I start going across horizontally, but this value is the same as that one, so I need to add another layer. So I'm going to increase my pressure just a little bit, but I'm also going to change directions. still working close to the side of my pencil, but it's not dragging on the wood. So it's really on the lead of the pencil, not the wood of the pencil. After completing your value scale, where you're moving from white to light gray through to your middle grays, all the way to your metallic black, which you can see when you lift your paper and the light rolls on it. The areas that are really dark that have a lot of value will have a shiny. You are going to then work on your sphere. Now our goal is to shade everything that's in this Xerox copy up on the top. So that means the sphere, the shadow, and the background. So the way that I start is I identify where my highlight is right here, and I am going to work small ovals around that highlight. And at first it's pretty defined, but I'll use my kneaded eraser to lift out the defined part and start fading it together to the white so that I kind of compare it to fog so that you don't really see the line of where the fog starts, you just kind of know it's started. And the value is the same way. So I'm working really far back on my pencil and I am going to build up my light value first. Now, just like I did with the little rectangles for the value scale, I'm going to work around my sphere first and then either work from the exterior in or the interior out. It's up to you. I find the best success happens from working light to dark. That way, if I need to build more dark values, I can. It's easier to build them in than it is to lift them out when you've gone too dark. So I'm gonna also continue that same skill of little ovals overlapping and rotating my paper. That way I get a curved form. So we wanna make sure I'm shading with the form and I'm not shading across it. So I don't want you to shade directly across it in straight lines the way we did these boxes. Now we're gonna start working on shading in a curve or showing a curved direction. So I just start on the edge. If you follow the edge, your hand is gonna create a muscle memory for this time frame where you're going to shade in a curve. But it's really important that you rotate your paper, otherwise when you're building your dark values, you're gonna get a dark moon crescent. So just work your way around, be patient, and build your values. So layers in combination with pressure, and just keep rotating your paper. Be aware of where your values are so you don't smudge with your hand that's resting on the paper by accident. That's the other reason you can hold your pencil further back. You're not touching your value scale that you just worked so hard on. All right, I'm gonna speed things up. You can watch me complete this little sphere and then you can do yours. So light to dark values, little ovals, work your way around the paper, and don't forget about this kneaded eraser. It is gonna be your buddy for those light values, okay? All right, good luck.